Hi everyone, Tyler from Duelcaster here, bringing you a brawl match this week between Jaya Ballard and Ghalta Primal Hunger. Why Jaya, you ask? Well, first of all, I'm aware that she isn't the strongest mono-red commander by a mile, but Karizev, Hazaret, and even to some extent Chandra all lend to a more aggressive style of mono-red, whereas Jaya can be built in a more controlling fashion. For example, my deck is nearly creatureless and built to take advantage of discarding a bunch of cards and utilizing the graveyard, which I find quite fun and interesting. You can see my full deck list in the video description. And what's there to say about Ghalta? He's the top of the food chain, pure and simple. This deck is all about pushing as much power onto the field as quickly as possible so that you can drop a 12/12 trample for 2 mana. This is going to be a challenging matchup if I can't burn away pretty much all of their creatures. If Ghalta hits the board, I'm pretty much screwed. Okay, I'm the play, and I see a pretty decent hand. I like it, especially because it has Sweltering Suns in it. It's kind of a weird combo-nombo with Soulscar Mage, but I'll take it. He plays the Line of War Elves into Cultivator's Caravan on turn 2, so that's not only is that a lot of power, but that's a lot of damage coming at me potentially. So he plays, then he follows it up with Vizier of the Menagerie, which having 3 power is able to immediately crew the Cultivator's Caravan, and having 4 toughness gets around all of my removal right now, except for Fight with Fire. So that's going to be kind of problematic. He attacks me for 5, so I'm already feeling the pressure. Luckily, I draw a Braid, which takes out the Caravan. And then I think about playing the Soulscar Mage because, although it might die to Sweltering Suns, if I play it this turn, then I can block, let him attack with Vizier, and then use Wizard's Lightning to kind of do a 1-2 punch, take it out. Then he plays Ronos the Indomitable. So again, just putting tons of power out. I'm kind of, my resources are taxed to the max here to try to prevent Ghalta from coming out. So again, he attacks with the Vizier like I hoped. This shrinks it down to 0-1 actually because of the -1 counters from the Soulscar Mage. So I'm able to easily ambush that and kill it, which is really nice. And then on my turn, I draw Flame Lash, but I just use this Fight with Fire to take out Ronos. I just don't want to take any risks of him getting Ghalta out. Whack him for 2 with Soulscar Mage. And then he just kind of attacks for 1 and says go. I draw my 5th land luckily, so I'm able to play Jaya. And I'm kind of thinking maybe I've stabilized here at this point, so I'm feeling pretty good. I just discard the Sweltering Suns. Not something I was guessing I was going to do at the start of this game, but it turns out his creatures just have way too high of toughness really for Sweltering Suns to be that effective. Speak of the devil, he plays Territorial Allosaurus kicked on his next turn, which is going to take out my Soulscar Mage. But interestingly, because it's non-combat damage, the Allosaurus gets a -1 counter. And with this actually allows me to use Flame Lash along with 3 free mana from Jaya and play Hazaret the Fervent on a mostly empty board. So Hazaret is not actually a creature right now because I have 2 cards in my hand, but is going to provide a potent threat later on potentially. The best he can do on his next turn to follow up is play Marwyn the Nurturer, which is kind of late to the party here, but yeah, I don't mind too much. So Marwyn comes out, but then Servant of the Conduit comes out too. So this is going to put a +1/+1 counter on Marwyn and give him a lot of mana, not just through power, but through mana production. So Ghalta's going to come out unless I can do something about it. I cannot. The best I can do is play Tormenting Voice, which I actually use off mana from Jaya just because I wanted to keep the Thematic Compass and discard exactly 1 card, so it made sense. But the Thematic Compass is, if I flip it, one of the only answers really in a mono red to a resolved Ghalta because it turns into a Maze of Ith type land. He has a Field of Ruin, but I'm hoping he forgets about it or something. I think it's better to just give it a shot here. He does resolve Ghalta. I'm able to get a Mountain, and now I'm kind of forced to be a little scrappy here. I do Ultimate Jaya, which is really nice, and so now I can play all the cards in my graveyard again. So I play the Sweltering Suns that I didn't play before, but that takes out everything except Ghalta. Then I play Rowdy Crew, and I get a little bit lucky here. I actually discard 2 cards that share a card type, so this comes into play as a 5/5 Trample. Hazaret, again, is not a creature, but it couldn't really attack into Ghalta anyway. I flip Thematic Compass, and now he does not forget about Field of Ruin, unfortunately. So my Maze of Ith land is gone. I get an untapped Mountain, which is pretty relevant, actually. He plays Rishkar's Expertise in the meantime, and this is pretty absurd. He's drawing 12 cards. So he's going to see, a huge chunk of his deck. Strangely enough, the best he can cast for free off of that is a Narnum Renegade. So I guess he's maybe worried about me attacking with some creatures, but I'm not too upset about that. I do shock his face when he attacks with Ghalta, which allows me to block Ghalta with Hazoret and soak up 4 more damage from that. Now it's kind of kill him or bust here. I play Fight with Fire on the Narnum Renegade unkicked, which the only reason I do that is because I, for some reason in my head, think that Fight with Fire is 10 total mana, but it's only 9. So I could have kicked it and would have been better, but it all turns out in the end because I attack him for 10, play Wizard's Lightning targeting his face, and then play Shock targeting his face to take down a really close one. And basically on the last turn, I had possible to survive or do anything and win the game. All right, so game 2, being on the draw is much worse against Ghalta. I feel like he can put out much bigger creatures than I can burn much faster. He doesn't have the Line of War Elves, luckily, but he does have a turn 2 mana accelerant in Servant of the Conduit. So he's going to be able to have 4 mana next turn. The best I can do is just play this Thaumatic Compass here, which is part of the reason I kept this hand. It's one, like I said, it's one of the only answers I have to resolve Ghalta. He gets a turn 3 Vizier of the Menagerie again, so this is looking pretty similar. The best I can do on my turn is just play this Squee, which is kind of not looking super great, but at least it threatens to trade with Servant of the Conduit. So kind of a pseudo removal spell. He attacks me for 3, not surprisingly, and then plays Prowling Serpapard, which is really interesting because I want to kill the Vizier more, but if I don't kill the Serpapard, then I count it up and he would have exactly enough mana to play Ghalta, assuming he had a land. So I'm able to postpone Ghalta for 1 turn more at least, just trying to march up in my land count until I can get 7 lands so I can flip that Thaumatic Compass. I go to 14, draw Karn, but I decided I really need to dig for some answers here because I'm not going to be able to stop Ghalta as it stands. So I discard 3 cards, draw three new cards that don't really do a whole lot. Not a surprise, Ghalta comes down, then he attacks Jaya with 2 of his creatures. I just jump block 1 of them. Okay, well, I got a lot of stuff to do this turn. I play Chandra, then I make 3 red from Jaya, and use Chandra's ability to take out the Vizier, use Flame Lash to take out the Oasis Ritualist, and then Shock to take out Servant of the Conduit. So, kind of, sort of thinking I'm stabilizing here, like he's not going to want to attack my Planeswalkers, but he has Hashep Oasis. So I have no breathing room here. This is going to kill me because I'm at 14 and Ghalta's obscenely huge, and I die. Wah wah. Game 3. I'm on the play again, which is really quite good. This hand is a little bit wonky, but I keep it because I have enough lands, and I can discard Insult to Injury to Tormenting Voice, maybe play Hollow One off of the discard, but I'm kind of holding on to this Tormenting Voice in case I, maybe have a chance to play Hollow One or something next turn. I probably should have just cast the Tormenting Voice that turn, so I could have played Insult to Injury on turn 3. That was kind of a punt there. He gets right out the gates here with the turn 2 Wayward Swordtooth, so just putting an obscene amount of power into play really early. Does not have another land, interestingly. Now I have a little awkward turn. I go Tormenting Voice, discarding the Insult to Injury, but my Pyramid is just sitting there doing nothing. So this was not ideal, not an ideal sequence. I don't really have enough room to make punts like that in this matchup, especially now he's vomiting 5 more power onto the board, and Drover of the Mighty plus Greenwheel Liberator. Even though it doesn't have Revolt, he got more than enough power to play Ghalta next turn, and for good measure the Field of Ruin to deal with any sort of flipped Thaumatic Compass. Now I play Insult to Injury, but I'm just a turn behind on this. It's pretty bad, biting me quite a lot. I could have actually even still I should have Wizard Lightning the Drover of the Mighty there just to save more damage. Ghalta comes out for 2, and then he attacks me for 5, going to 15. I draw Glorybringer, but that's not going to be even close to enough. I'm in desperation. I dig for a card with Sunset Pyramid, but I do not get anything that can save me here, so I scoop it up. So that third game was a bit anticlimactic, but if you want to handicap yourself a bit and sweat some near-death experiences, give Jaya a try. If you like Mono Red, but are more of a cutthroat spike, you probably want to sleeve up Kari Zeb instead. Any changes you would make to the deck and your requests for other Brawl commanders, let me know in the comments below. And please take a quick second to subscribe to DCM to get that hot, fresh 1v1 commander action every week. Thanks for watching.